Hello, folks. For a long time, I've been wanting to make a video on databases, specifically database mania, similar to how I did videos on peer-to-peer computing, P2P mania, and all that. So peer-to-peer mania was great. I think I did it for some 2 hours or something. It was pretty long and whatnot. I could do longer for database mania. Let's see how that goes. And Yeah, let's get started. Database mania. So what do I want to talk about databases? So before that, maybe I'll just go ahead and write down some stuff. So you can actually go to 1 minute. Oops. Just a minute. Okay. Oh, cool. I'll just allow it this time. Anyway. So basically, if you go to my GitHub profile, you'll notice some database stuff. So yeah, let me just put database. So it's called database stuff, and then database playground to make some database stuff, and AppSmith. Okay, cool. So mostly this, and we look for Redis stuff. Yes, and I also created some stuff around database as a service business related stuff, but I didn't do much in it, I think. Anyways, so I think I had quite some of these dbaz business and stuff. Yep. So anyways, let's get started, right? So interesting. Someone has actually started this stargazers. Okay, one of my friends. So okay, so if you actually look at this repo, you will notice that I have actually tried to note down quite some things here. Just a minute, let me close some of these. Yeah. So git clone this. I'll also clone the other other repo, which is this one. So okay. So with that, let me open up these two and I'll show you what all I have noted down in this, and what are some cool things that I actually noticed about all of these. And personally, I want to actually learn about databases, so I still haven't succeeded in that, unfortunately, but I think I'll succeed in it too, like soon. But that will take some time. But this is just a introductory video to just blabber about databases. That's why it's called Database Mania. So if you look at databases in general, anything where you would store data is called a database. Actually, like, I mean, people will have some specific what do you say, definitions and all, that only this is a database or that is a database. According to me, anything that stores data, basically you call it as a stateful service or stateful system. So anything that stores data is a database. There are not just databases there are not just like these systems that just store data, they also process this data. So databases do both storing and processing data, and like searching through data, doing operations on data. And databases are not the only data systems. There are other data systems, basically systems that store data, work with data, manage data, and all. So for example, message brokers is one example. So for example, like Kafka and all that are actually um, kind of like databases where they store the data and give it to their there are producers and they give the data to the consumers and whatnot. So message brokers or message queues basically. So there is RabbitMQ, Kafka and all. So so let me show you. Maybe we'll start there, right? Types of databases, database kinds or types. So there are different kinds. Popularly, I think we started off with structured databases mostly. Um, it had a structure, so mostly in the form of a table. So you have relationships between entities. There are entities, and then you have a entity relationship, one to one to many relationships. People make diagrams called entity relationship diagrams, ERD, and they write schema for the entities so that you can store that entity in the database. So um, so in relational databases, basically tables, usually tables, you have rows and columns. And then later came up NoSQL, or basically to say no structure. So anything that's not relational, where it doesn't have structure, you can call it as NoSQL, NoSQL. So like examples, popular examples for SQL is Postgres, MySQL, and then you also have others like MariaDB. MariaDB is actually a fork of MySQL. I think MySQL got acquired by Oracle, and the people who built MySQL uh, started off MariaDB as a company and as an open source project. So they have some open source stuff, and then they have some closed source stuff also. So there is mariadb.org for the open source things, and the foundation, MariaDB Foundation, which is actually a open entity, public entity. But there is also mariadb.com, which is actually the company. And then there is Microsoft SQL Server, so MS SQL. And there are a lot more databases out there. These are just some. So if you want to actually look at as many databases that you want to know about as possible, then you will find as many databases as possible in this website. So it's called a database of databases. Basically, it's a database of all the databases out there. So it's like a metadata. So database of the metadata about all the databases out there. So this has been built by people in Carnegie Mellon University. So they have a group called Database Group, Carnegie Mellon University Database Group, CMU Database Group, or in short, CMU DB Group. So this is their website. So db.cs, basically computer science.cmu.edu. So there are a lot of videos and lot of interesting content that they have. So if you actually go to the bottom of the page and click their YouTube, you'll find there are so many videos. They have some 545 videos. Basically, every time they conduct a class for their database course, there are two courses actually. One is an introductory course, so introduction to database systems. There's one more course called advanced, so it's like the next one after introductory one after introductory course. So after the introduction of introduction to database systems, they have advanced database systems. So these both are actually courses that CMU has for databases, and a lot of students attend this. And when they conduct the class, they actually record it, and they have recordings for many years, right? So you can actually check it out. It says spring 2016, fall 2015, and what. So they have videos from so long time ago, and for spring and for fall. So they record it and they put it down, and they also have seminars where people from the industry come and talk about databases, open source and closed source databases. So you will look at a lot of these videos called seminar, like this, where it says seminar series and things like that. So And they also have something called, I mean, similar to seminar, they also named their seminar thing called as Tech Talks here during quarantine, during the COVID time. But other than that, I've been following them since a long time. I still haven't looked at all their videos. It is pretty good. I still haven't gone beyond like some two lectures, I think. But they have pretty good content. It's long form content also, so you can actually find out that there are like some every spring or fall they have some 20-25 videos for their classes, and multiple videos for their seminars, right? So people from Google and whatnot, they come and talk. So so if you're interested in, like, databases, this is surely a website to check out. They also have a GitHub. In their GitHub, they put open source databases for learning and for just for playing around. So as part of their course, they use this educational database management system called BusTub, and they build it using C++. And you can actually even find out their what do you say assignments on their website. So if you go here and look at courses, you'll find their assignments also. So previous semesters and the latest semesters are here. Special topics, multimedia databases, data mining, and whatnot. And you'll find that there are assignments. So if you look at it, you'll see there are assignments, and they have a solution and whatnot. And you can go through the solution. They also have projects, right? So it's pretty cool stuff. And so if you look at it here, you will notice that so they also have an internal system called Piazza, which students use. So this is only for the students of CMU. I don't think anyone else can actually log into this. Um, yeah, I mean, and you can check out their schedule, syllabus, and FAQ and all. And you can connect with the people. There is also a Discord. I think they have a Discord channel that you can actually join in to meet other students. So it's not affiliated with CMU and will not be monitored by instructors or TS. So do not post questions about the project as GitHub issues also. So yeah, and I mean, they also do they have a Slack? I can't recall, but they have a Discord. Yes. So I am part of that Discord. Just a minute. So there is also another website called GradeScope. Looks like you can actually submit your source code for the projects. They'll make the auto grader for each assignment available to non after their due date. For same assignment, in exchange for making this available to the public, actually do not make the project public on GitHub, other source code repositories. Okay. So basically, this is something that you can actually submit to. Basically, this is a system, I think, that like assesses your assignments and grades your assignments. So basically, it's available even to non-CMU students. So even if you're not a student in CMU, you can check it out. So I am pretty much crazy about CMU database group. So you will find me always praising about them. And then this website is made by them. What I've learned is that in the last few years, let's say 2-3 decades, a lot of databases have come up, right? Before that, we had very few databases, open source and closed source, I believe. So open source ones, only Postgres was very popular. I think Postgres started out in 1980. PostgreSQL. So if you look at the history, if you look for the Wikipedia, you'll notice that there was a educational project that started up called Postgres, right? So the initial version came 30 years ago, 3 decades ago, right? Before this also there was a Postgres version. It was around 1980s. So you can see here. So Ingress and University, so Postgres evolved from the Ingress project. So it looks like there's a project called Ingress. It's a proprietary thing apparently. So um, so work and began a post ingress project to address the problems with that container. Okay, so there was a post ingress something, and they call it as postgres, I guess. So he won Turing Award and all apparently. So yeah, so this was in the 1980s, right? And so you can actually see there are different versions. Postgres 95, so this was in 1995, I guess. So and now they have a lot of versions. I think the latest version of Postgres is postgres.org, PostgreSQL, PostgreSQL.org. Should give you the latest version, which is I think 17 or 18. Yeah, 18 has been released this year in September, just a few days back. It's October 18th today, so yeah, I mean, and you will notice that there are documentations available even for older versions, right? So this is 18, 17, 16, 14, and even for 9, 10, 11, and all that. So check the archive of the older manuals. You can actually find out that they have it from around 6.3, and for all of these. And I've heard interesting stories about how people are still using 13, 14, 15, and all. So while 18 is the latest version, it's not a very easy thing to just upgrade a database, which is a complex software. So upgrading complex software is not easy. Other complex software that I've heard of are like ERP, enterprise resource planning systems, or CRM, customer relationship management. Yeah. So yeah, and what else? So yeah, these are all open source databases, I think. Not sure. Let me check it out. Genesis, Bolt DB. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find some data about this. Okay, I think I'm not able to find anything. Closed source. Okay, this one says open source. So academic, open source. So I wonder what other tags do they have. For example, here it says open source. Okay, so is there closed source, commercial? Yeah, there is commercial. And you can actually find out the licenses, right? Cool. So these are all commercial ones. So, for example, Qdrant. Okay, Qdrant is also open source from what I remember. It says commercial here, and Qdrant.tech. GitHub. Yeah, so this is open source. Interesting. Let me check the license. So it is under Apache 2 license. I'm not sure why they didn't say it's a open source thing. Weird. But I remember checking this out. It is open source. So this is actually a popular vector database. So let's look at that, right? Like, what are the different types of databases? We were talking about relational and then non-relational, or NoSQL or non-SQL. So you can actually find the different kinds of databases over here, I guess. And there are databases that are compatible with, basically their API is the same as some other database. So use cases and inspired by, and then operating system, on which operating system it will run, programming languages it has been written in, and whatnot. So pretty cool stuff. So they have a lot of metadata about this. So and they also have data about indexes and whatnot. So you can see here they have stuff like what all indexes they have and all that. So, and I think it will talk about logs. Yeah, no, logging. Just a minute. Check ones. Okay. Anyways, so storage organization. Cool. So they have information about even storage organization and all that. Stored procedure, system architecture, and whatnot. User-defined functions. Cool. So and you can actually find out that CMU database. CMU database group is basically an interesting group with a lot of research projects. So you'll actually find out stuff like future file formats, something about hardware and software co-design, and then user-defined function compilation magic, and then adaptive query processing and whatnot. So you'll find a lot of interesting things, and if you want to mail them, you can just mail them here. They also have I think Blue Sky is this called? I forgot the name. Yeah, so yeah. So these are some things, some updates about this stuff. So they also have a lot of students getting into different database companies for internships. For example, this is their PhD student, Will Zhang. He wins the 2025 MongoDB PhD fellowship for his research on autonomous database optimization and tuning. So, and yeah, I mean, in the last, say, it's 2025, in the last 3 decades or so, say in the last 2 to 3 decades, so basically since 2000 or so, I think there have been a lot of databases. So, especially when the cloud started, public cloud, what do I say, past or evolution, right? When did it come up? So, evolution of cloud computing. Mainframe computing was there long back. Apparently, that was the first thing. Internet and e-commerce in 1990s. In 2000s, introduction of infrastructure as a service and platform as a service from providers like AWS, Azure, and Google. Today, it includes a hybrid ML. So basically, I think including the release of S3 and EC2. Okay, in the mid 2000s, looks like in 2000 itself it came up. So if you look at AWS, Wikipedia, and Wiki. So if you look at this, I think founded in 2002, right? So web services, and 2006 the cloud computing. Okay. Cool. So pretty long time ago, and all these cloud services, like basically cloud service providers, that's what they call them as CSP, cloud service provider. They provide cloud services. They started providing infrastructure as a service, basically, compute, network, and all that. So, for example, CPUs. Now they have GPUs, given the usage of GPUs increasing. For example, for AI, ML things. So, and then of course providing RAM and everything, and providing servers basically, and then platform as a service, providing a platform where you can just put your code and it will automatically scale and stuff. And then software as a service, where you don't have to even give code, they will just provide everything, software to you. So AWS, Azure, Google, and there are so many more out there, like DigitalOcean and whatnot. There's also this company called Hetzner, and then there is what do you say, Hostinger and whatnot. So lot of different cloud companies out there, and they all actually provide different kinds of services. And one of the kind of software as a service that they provide is called database as a service. So it's called DBaaS. It's a particular kind of SaaS, software as a service. So they provide databases basically, and these are either open source databases that they host and provide it to you, or they are open source database compatible because they have the same API as open source database, or similar, or almost the same, and works almost the same, but the implementation behind the scenes is different. So it's like PostgreSQL, I think, is written in C, C++, I'm not sure. So PostgreSQL, So I think this has moved to Postgres. So Postgres is written in C. So you can see over here, it's written in C. Now, if you rewrite this in Rust, then it will be a different implementation. It won't be the original Postgres, but if you rewrite the whole project and if you have the same API, then you can just call it as PostgreSQL API compatible database, but not Postgres itself, because Postgres refers to the one written in C. So you can call it as Postgres Rust or something like that. Or you can still call it Postgres, but people will misunderstand it as the one written in C. So AWS, Amazon Web Services, Google, Microsoft, Azure, Google, like in Google, it's called Google Cloud Platform. Their cloud services started providing software, including database as a service, as part of their software as a service. And they have open source ones and even closed source ones. So all these cloud providers, cloud service providers, they have interesting databases. For example, Google has this thing called Bigtable, um, which is actually a scalable, fully managed NoSQL database. And then Google has Spanner, which is also a popular one. Um, so it's a highly available database. Um, this is a very popular and very classic and simple thing where they provide a highly available database service, and the kind of database service depends. The kind of database depends. It can be SQL, NoSQL, or a mix of both and all that. And they also have some newer databases like Alloy DB. So they have so many databases. So if you look at Google databases, you'll actually find out Google Cloud databases. They have so many of them. Um, so relational databases, they have Cloud SQL. They have Alloy. They have Spanner. Is that it? Interesting. Anyways, and a lot of customers, companies use them. And these are these are relational ones. Non-relational one, Bigtable, Memory Store, Firestore. I think Firestore is part of their Firebase thing. So, and then MongoDB compatibility. Then Vector, because now there is a new kind of NoSQL called Vector database for storing vectors for AI/ML use case. So yeah. So they have vector database, and then they have migrate and modernize. So they have migration services. Even AWS has this database migration service, and migrate and supercharge Oracle databases and applications in Google Cloud, deployed at the latest and all that. So I think they have Oracle Cloud. They have some tie-up with Oracle Cloud, I guess. So, anyways, so you can actually find out their cloud database management systems, some report and all. So these companies are betting on cloud databases. So there is AWS databases. So you'll actually find that they have popular databases like DynamoDB, which is their NoSQL one, and then just a minute. So they have Aurora, right, and then they have RDS, Relational Database Service. So basically RDS is just like a thing to host open source databases, but Aurora is like compatible with the open source databases, but they have features like serverless. So there are now serverless databases. This is something I heard only a few years back. This company called honeycomb.io did this. They spoke about their company and how they store data. They mentioned about how their database is serverless, and they store the data in S3. Their compute is separate, so Honeycomb goes serverless. Send your data, app data without running agents. So just a minute. Let me put this here. So you'll actually notice that. So they basically started using Lambda, basically serverless functions, and API gateway, basically, which goes along with Lambda, and basically S3, for example, to store their data. So if you notice, they actually mention our agentless integrations are different. They hook into AWS event pipeline. If you're writing to CloudWatch logs, shipping logs to in S3, or emitting events to an SNL, you can use Honeycomb's agentless integrations. So you can actually check out that thing. So I'm not sure if this is the one that mentions about serverless thing, but yeah. So they basically wrote about how Honeycomb uses Honeycomb is actually a observability platform. So you can actually check that out. So they have been around for a long time. So Honeycomb serverless database. So if you look for this, I think yeah. So you'll notice that custom data store, a custom database retrieve handles it's always on servers, and S3. Is there an S3 thing here? I don't know. Let me check it out. Retrieve database. I think someone has mentioned it. So yeah, when a query requires data stored in AWS S3, can spin up a lambda function for every 8 or so data segments, and handles variable workloads, cost effective. So basically, they separate out the compute and storage. So that is one of the interesting things about serverless databases. So so yeah, it looks like someone has written about it. Um, I don't know who this person is, but looks like they've written about it. So yes, and actually the people who run and who are behind Honeycomb, they have actually written some interesting books also. So one person is named as Charity Major. So she has written a book. So 1 minute. So Charity Majors books. If you look for books, so she has written this book called Database Reliability Engineering. I think this she wrote even before Honeycomb or around that time. It says 2017, and it looks like she has written even observability engineering. This is something interesting, because they are part of the whole observability platform, and they are in that space, observability space. So if you look at Honeycomb Wikipedia, so you should find out that they started. Oh no, not this. Honeycomb company Wikipedia. Okay. So it was started in 2016. So looks like she wrote that book around that time. So yeah, I mean, looks like she was part of the Pars team. So Pars was a popular company, I think. So it was also open source, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, the platform was subsequently open source. So was a company acquired by Meta and shut down. They developed MVAS platform Pars. I think backend as a service, yes. So also called as mobile backend as a service. So they open sourced it. So you can actually find out GitHub Pars um, um, backend as a service. So she was part of it. Um, so build a mobile app for your starter and all that. And yeah, I don't know who's maintaining this. But yeah, there are people, and she was part of the engineering team. So yeah, later they brought in like they got the idea of like starting up, I guess. So looks like that's what happened. Um, so in-memory analytics tool they had used. So looks like they had some in-memory analytics tool they had used in Facebook, and she wanted to do something along that line. So yeah, and yeah, here they are after 9 years. They're doing great actually. Um, so yeah, and they've written this book that I said, like database reliability engineering. So they've actually done quite some stuff, um, because they know how to operate resilient databases, and now they actually have a serverless database, and which is like a thing now. in many cloud companies, they boast about serverless databases. So you can actually see that Aurora has this concept of serverless databases also, distributed SQL, serverless distributed SQL. And so here you can actually see DynamoDB. Elasticache is basically, I believe it's Redis, at least Redis API, but yeah, it's serverless apparently. Then database migration service, DocumentDB, similar to MongoDB, compatibility with that, but not exactly that. And then they have graph databases. So there are different kinds of databases. I'll talk about that. And then they have key spaces. So Cassandra compatible thing, memory DB, and that's it. So they have a lot of databases, yes. So if you want to look at the types, you have under NoSQL, you have different types like graph database. One example is Neo4j, very popular example. There are many more. And then key value database or key value store. Example is Redis, one very popular example. And then document store to store documents. MongoDB is one example. They store JSON documents. And then wide column. I don't know much about this, but one example I think is Cassandra, columnar databases. And then there are some more. There is this thing called time series database. Popular examples are influx database. There's also this monitoring system called Prometheus, which is also a time series database. And then there is a open TSDB, which is TS is time series, DB database, so open time series database. And then there are databases that can help you with search. For example, Elasticsearch is a database, and it has search engine like features. I think it uses something called Apache Lucene for its tokenization and stuff, I think. So it's a search engine library. So yeah, provides core functionality. So building search applications, including indexing content. Basically, they tokenize and index, right, for efficient retrieval and powerful search. And you'll find Apache Solar uses Lucene. It's actually a search engine, web search engine, right? And from what I remember, web search engine, but yeah, it's kind of like a search platform, yes. So and they also have, so full text is one kind of search. There is also vector search and geospatial search. So I think vector search is kind of like a vector DB kind of thing. I think geospatial is all about like something about maps where you search for a latitude, longitude, and whatnot. So and let me close some of these. And then you have analytics. So it's not just open source, it's not just transactional databases. It's also about analytical databases. So people call it as OLTP and then OLAP. So OL is online, transactional, TP is transactional processing. So online transactional processing and then versus online analytical processing. Are you using your database for doing some processing or doing some analytics where you do aggregations like sum, minimum, maximum, average, and percentiles and stuff like that? So where you do a lot of aggregations and grouping and whatnot. So if you want analytics insights, then you have different kinds of databases for that, and then business intelligence out of that. And then of course geospatial data, I mentioned about it. So yeah, so basically based on the kind of use case for analytics or transactions, there is also a hybrid transactional and analytical processing, so HTAP and all that. So and you have serverless versus server based databases, where the compute and storage is separated when you talk about serverless databases. So just a minute. So what else? And there have been a lot of interesting databases in my view. I think Pinecone is one. It's a vector database. Pinecone vector database. Yeah. So it's a vector database. I think they are open source. I'm not sure. Let me check. Looks like they're not. Interesting. So and these databases as services also like DBaaS services, databases as a service. They also provide this thing called BYOC, which is called Bring Your Own Cloud. So you can use your own cloud account instead of using the database as a service company's cloud account, so that you can use your cloud credits, and also that's there. Looks like this is closed source, but yeah, I mean this is popular. And then there are so many other vector databases, and then databases have extensions. So Redis has a lot of things called plugins or modules, um, and then there is Postgres, which has extensions. MariaDB has extensions. Um, Let me show you. I think MariaDB has extensions, or is it called plugins? Some similar name. So yeah, it's called plugins, and they're add-ons that enhance the database's functionality. So Postgres has PG Vector, so you can actually find it out. It's open source, and it's a extension for including like vector database features in Postgres. For geospatial stuff, for example, you can use PostGIS, which is actually for geospatial features in Postgres, right? And so it's a extension. So what else? And I love all the databases out there. The first ones that I got to know about was I think Postgres, and even before that I think it was MySQL, and a bit of MariaDB. When I tried to install, I used to notice that no matter what I install, the interface for MySQL and MariaDB seemed the same. I didn't know at the time that they were just folks. I can't recall if I found it out or not. And then Postgres, and then Redis, right? So these are some of the ones that I actually learned about initially. I haven't tried much of the ones that came up later, like the last 2-3 decades. I mean, Redis did come up in the last 2-3 decades, but I'm saying very recent, like say last 2 decades or 1 decade. Basically, there are interesting databases like CockroachDB, which is an open source database. At least a part of their thing is open source. So they have just a minute, let me show it to you. Their company is called Cockroach Labs, and the database is called Cockroach Database or CockroachDB, and they are open source. You will find their GitHub. Just a minute. So fully managed, bring your own cloud, enterprise. Interesting. Cockroach. Let me just say Cockroach DB, and I should be able to find out their GitHub. So it's written in Golang. Actually, I love it that it's written in Golang, because I actually know the language very well. I did learn C++ in my school and college times, but then I'm now more used to Golang, Go programming language by Google. And that's an open source language, so you can check it out if you want, if you don't know about it yet. So they are actually proud that they're actually a cloud native database. A lot of open source and closed source databases boast about that they're a cloud native distributed database, SQL database, and distributed databases help you do things at scale and whatnot. So CockroachDB is one such, and they actually have serverless databases, which I don't think is open source. So serverless, you should notice serverless in their product, I think. Fully managed cloud. So you'll notice in pricing, at least you will notice that they have serverless also. So let me see. Cloud, self-hosted, your own. Interesting. I can't find serverless anymore. They used to have it. I'm not sure if they have it anymore. Maybe it's not a thing. Anyways, serverless. Interesting. CockroachDB serverless. So I don't know. Looks like okay. They do have something here. So yeah, they have serverless. Create a free cluster. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Cool. So they do have it. I'm not sure why it is present here under this. Anyways, so I mean, another company that I noticed which had serverless database was MongoDB. MongoDB Atlas has both server based and serverless, I think. Let me show that to you. So, Atlas fully managed MongoDB in the cloud. Is there a server? Oh, can't find it. Interesting. So, let me just say, okay. I think LP is landing page. Interesting. So, serverless? No. Interesting how I don't find it. In that pricing. Maybe now by default they're all serverless, or maybe it just is mentioned when you get into their thing. Serverless, there is some mention somewhere, I don't know where though. Interesting. Okay, I don't think I can find it now, but security, backups, integrations and tools. I think there was a thing called serverless, Atlas serverless and all that. MongoDB, Atlas, serverless, yeah. So cloud hosted, Atlas for serverless application development, serverless architecture. Okay, so looks like this is deprecated. You can no longer create a serverless instances. Suppose Atlas has deprecated serverless instances. Okay, looks like it has deprecated serverless instances. Cool. I don't know why that's the case, but looks like anyways. Cool. So MongoDB is one of the popular databases out there. Somehow they made it popular by combining it with Node.js, which is also a JavaScript ecosystem. So in JavaScript, JSON is very popular. So they just said JSON documents. Okay, you just use MongoDB. Just use always go ahead and use JSON documents and use MongoDB. So they brought in this idea of MERN stack, MEAN mean stack for MongoDB Express, which is a web framework for Node.js, and then React or Angular, and then Node.js, which is the runtime language runtime on top of the V8 JavaScript engine. So yeah, I mean MongoDB was very popular, and it is still very popular among the many other databases like say Firestore, where mobile developers just want to store their things without having to write a backend themselves. So the whole messaging and storing and stuff, they are taking care of it by using Firebase or Firestore and things like that, which is now kind of a part of Google Cloud now. So you can actually check out Firebase. They are very very popular among mobile developers and also web developers. And anyone who wants to just use a database very quickly, I think they might just go ahead and use Firebase. So you can actually check it out what they have and pricing and stuff. So you can do testing, analytics and all that, and distribution. They're very much integrated with Google, so you can easily deploy Android apps and do stuff very easily using their services. Google Cloud Messaging, also known as Fire Cloud Messaging now, so I think it's all related, basically for Android. So, and they also have database stuff over here, you can actually check it out. So what other databases are popular? I mean, there are so many other databases. For example, at an enterprise level, you can actually find out that there are databases like ScyllaDB, which is based out of I think Google Spanner stuff. So both highly scalable. What's the difference? I don't know. I think it's like inspired from Spanner. There are a lot of databases inspired from Spanner. So ScyllaDB is actually a company and a database. It's open source that too. So just a minute. Essential personalization, no. Analytics, no. So GitHub should be here. So there, GitHub, you can actually check out their databases over here. It's written in C++. And yep. So ScyllaDB, you can go and read the data like code, the database code. So the license I think is tricky. Source available license, but I think it's just the source is just available. That's all. But I don't think you can probably modify it. I don't know. But can you commercialize it and all that? I don't know. We need to read the license to understand that. And yeah, they call it as the real-time big data database. And then Apache has Apache Cassandra, so it is very popular. So their GitHub should be here. 1 minute. So it's a NoSQL database, and it can handle large amounts of data across multiple data centers and all. GitHub should be here. Yes, this is their GitHub. It's written in Java. A lot of databases are written in Java, and a lot of Apache Software Foundation or Apache software is written in Java. So you can actually go check it out. If you just search for all the Java ones, you will notice that there are so many of them. So yeah, for example, in terms of databases or data related stuff, you'll find out that see Hoodie, I think, and then there is even stuff like I think Pino, yeah, Apache Pino, and then Apache Trino. There's one more called Apache Trino. So a lot of them out there. So you'll notice that there are so many databases under Apache. So yeah, and also they have data systems in general like Kafka and all. So you'll notice Pino in their list, real-time distributed overlap, and then Trino. Okay, it's not here. So let me look for Trino. Apache. Oops, no, Apache Trino. Okay, so Presto SQL. So Apache Trino. So you'll notice that TrinoDB is here. Yep. And I think it is Apache only, I think, so I'm not sure. In Apache, so run TrinoDB. Okay, it is under Apache license, but is it under Apache? I don't know. And there are so many other things out there under Apache. You can go check it out. There is Apache Hadoop file system and whatnot. And these are all related to big data and like data related stuff, which I have not really gotten into. But yeah, so these are all very popular. And then there is this company called PingCap, which built this interesting database called TIDB, which is basically short for Titanium database. And Titanium database is written in Golang, and it is written on top of one another database that PingCap built. The other database which it's built on is called TIKV. So TIDB is built on another database called TIKV, which is short for Titanium. KV is for key value store. So Titanium key value store, and it has been written in Rust. So you can actually go check out PingCap GitHub. You'll notice that TIDB is under PingCap, but TIKV is a separate organization by itself. So this is the TIKV project, and you'll notice that TIKV is written in Rust, and they are also pretty popular. And you'll actually notice a lot of projects when it comes to key value store. So TIDB is actually a distributed SQL database, and it's written in Golang. These are also modern databases in the sense that they've been built in the last 1 or 2 decades, and cater to a lot of the new things that people want, and is also built from scratch, and does not have some of the problems or failures or issues that the very old ones have. For example, Postgres has always been mocked about, or has always been a thing where Postgres used to feel like it's not distributed, it's old, it's not modern, it's not fault tolerant. So it has always been like a old entity or a old software kind of thing. But though it is still being built and it has a lot of features and it is pretty powerful and it has been tested in production a lot. Um, but yeah, there are softwares on top of Postgres which helped Postgres in terms of sharding. For example, there was this thing called Citus, Citus Data, I think. Citus Data. So they built this extension for Postgres for making Postgres distributed and to horizontally scale it instead of vertical scaling. So, and then Citus interestingly got acquired by Microsoft. So you can actually notice that Microsoft bought it. And if you go to Citus Data, you'll notice, Microsoft, Microsoft company. So it says Citus Data is a Microsoft company. Citus Data was bought by Microsoft. So, but yeah, they still have open source this extension. They have this open source extension, and they also have been around for a long time. So you can actually trust them. So you can also see that they are 100% open source, and the license is actually, I think, Apache usually AGPL. So it won't allow you when it comes to commercial stuff, but other than that you can use this and it's open source and you can read it and learn from it. So PingCap, TIDB and TIKB, you can learn a lot from them, and you can also learn a lot from Citus. And there are other databases. For example, in terms of serverless databases, there was this database called Zenith database, Zenith DB. Now it's called as Neon. It's called Neon Tech. Let me show that to you. So basically, if you just do GitHub Zenith DB, it will go to Neon. Just a minute, Zenith. Interesting database. Okay, so anyways, for now I'll just go ahead and put it as Neon Tech, which is what the actual thing is. So, not this neontech.dev. Is it Neon DB? Nope, not this. Neon DB. Nope. Neon.tech. Yep. So this is the company, and Neon database Neon. So that's their thing. So it's not these. Sorry. So it's Neon database / Neon, and I think I remember checking it out as Zenith database. This one. You can actually click this, and you'll notice that it will go to Neon. Yep. So Zenith DB / Zenith. So you will actually notice that Zenith DB is this, but yeah, if you put Zenith DB / Zenith, you should go to /Zenith. You should go to Neon database because that's the new name that they have. And I have actually checked out so much about different kinds of databases. Just read about what they are at a high level, just to understand what is happening. But I still haven't gone through the code of every other database to learn what they do. So that's something that I want to do, and also probably start from one of the parts, because there are so many databases, so many things that I'm interested in. So it's not easy to just choose one, but I think I'll go ahead and choose one and start learning. So Neon database is a serverless Postgres. Basically, it's a serverless database. So they separate the compute and storage. So you can see that they separate the storage and compute to offer auto scaling, code like database branching, and scale to zero. Scale to zero is something that can be useful, especially for demo or very test like product, where you're not giving it a product, like giving it to many people, and it's not like exactly like production. But even for production, I think it might help depending on the burst of requests that you have. But if you're not sure if you need serverless or not in terms of databases or in general, you can probably go and check out Martin Fowler. and you'll notice the thing about serverless. Just a minute, one for the serverless architecture. So you will notice what they are talking about when it comes to serverless. So these are people who actually have gone through a lot of different phases to learn about application development and specifically serverless. So yeah, cool. So yeah, I mean, you can actually go and check out this code. So Neon, I think, is built as an extension. So yeah, you can go check it out, and it's like a fork of Postgres. I think not extension exactly. It's a fork of Postgres. You will notice that Postgres is there, but they actually made it serverless. So substitutes the Postgres storage layer by redistributing data across a cluster of nodes. So I have to read this to understand what they've done, but they've written it in Rust, so pretty cool stuff. And yeah, for some reason, whenever I see Golang or Rust, I'm just like, wow, because Rust has some interesting features. I forgot about them, but it has features like borrowing and whatnot. And it's a pretty new language, modern language. So yeah. So yes, Neon is also a popular database that you can check out, especially when it comes to serverless. And then there's also one more serverless database from Alibaba Cloud called one minute, Cloud. Forgot the name. Serverless database. I think it's called. Forgot the name. Just a minute. PolarDB, yes. PolarDB is the serverless database, so you can check it out. Just a minute. Okay, so PolarDB. So it's a cloud-native relational database, and it's compatible with MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Oracle. And you'll notice that it's serverless. I think database deep dives. So, yeah. Database management. Interesting. So understand serverless Aspara DB. Apsara, sorry, not Aspara. It's Apsara. So Polar DB you can actually find out. So number list okay, each node. Okay, so you will actually find out GitHub, Alibaba Cloud, yeah, and Polar DB. Let me just cover this. So Polar DB. I think Polar. No. Apsara. Yeah, Apsara Cache. Cool. Redis branch originated from Alibaba Group. Okay. So I think I need to convert this to English. Polar DB. Yeah, I think this is what I'm looking for. So has this been translated? Yes, it has been translated. So GitHub. Community. Okay. Okay. I'm not able to see much. Anyways, I think they have a lot of what do you say, projects. So I think this Apache, is it Apache Druid or is it just Alibaba Druid? Okay, interesting. Apache has a software called Apache Druid. This I'm not sure what this is. Apache Flame. That was firecrackers. Cool. So let me just close this up. I think this is going to be a big rabbit hole than what I was thinking about. Anyways, so they have a Redis branch out, like fork, I think. But if you look for Polar DB, I think you might find Alibaba Ali SQL, interesting. MySQL branch originated from Alibaba. Fetch document from the release and enhance it. Okay, cool. So yeah, looks like they have a Redis fork or Redis branch and a lot of things. And let me see if I can find serverless stuff over here. Okay, interesting. Serverless VS Code, FunCraft, Fun with serverless. Okay. Any database stuff? Middleware, Ali SQL, Mongo. Okay. So they have a fork of Mongo. Okay. Cool, that is interesting. I'm not sure where I'll find Apsara, Polar. Yeah, nope. Cool. So I'm not sure how I'll find this out, but I can actually look for cloud Polar DB and introduction to Polar DB. Okay, I think this is what I was looking for. Yeah, Apsara, and you can actually see Polar DB for PostgreSQL. So I think it's under Apsara DB. So this is basically serverless, I think, or compute. Yeah. So uses shared storage based algorithm in which computing is recoupled from storage. Basically, that's what it means when you say it's serverless. So yeah, so they actually separated the whole thing, the computing and the storage. So it's written in C. So it's a pretty interesting, what do you say, project to check out, I would say, given Alibaba is a big cloud. And let me just put this as Zenith over here. I'll just put it as Alibaba Cloud, Apsara DB, Polar DB, Alibaba Cloud, Alibaba Apsara, just so that I can search it. Apsara and Polar and serverless. Cool. So yeah, I mean, you can actually check out their GitHub page also. So I think there must be a English version. Yeah, there is an English version. Cool. So yeah, it is basically Postgres, based on Postgres, and it's like, separating out the compute and storage. And I think they have a paper also. I forgot where it is. One moment. Let me look for it. Research paper. PolarDB is journey to achieving 2 billion TPMs. What is TPMs? I'm not sure. I think there are quite some research papers around this, but I'm not able to find out. Okay, this is one. I think this is one. Probably this is one. Should probably take this and then take this also. Yeah, I took this shared memory, Delete this also. And there was one more. I think that's it. Cool. So yeah, lot of interesting projects out there, and you will find out that this db.io website has so many databases mentioned in it. So yeah, so these are some databases that I know about. There are some more interesting ones like etcd, which is actually a popular database when you are in the Kubernetes ecosystem, because Kubernetes uses etcd, or anything that is etcd compatible, I guess. So etcd is a database written in Golang. It's a key value store. It has a lot of interesting features, and it is also open source. And it uses Raft consensus protocol for consensus, which is also an open source, and there's a research paper on it, and there are implementations of it. For example, etcd has implemented the Raft protocol in Golang, and there are other people also who have built it. And then of course, I think I forgot to mention about some interesting databases like SQLite. So before that, I'll just show you etcd's GitHub before we move on to the SQLite. So this is etcd's GitHub. So they have the Golang source code, and they have many other repositories in their organization, GitHub organization. So yep, you can go check it out, and you can check out this embedded key value database called Bolt DB. So this is actually a fork of, I think, Bolt DB. So basically, there was a database called Bolt, which is actually now archived after it was feature complete. They didn't want to add more features, but etcd actually adds more features to it, I think. Active maintenance and developer target for Bolt. So improved reliability and stability. Bolt includes bug fixes, performance enhancements, and features not found in Bolt, while preserving backwards compatibility with the Bolt API. So yeah, after it was feature complete, they basically stopped. Basically, the API is fixed, the file format is fixed. So are used to ensure database consistency and threat safety. Bolt is currently used in high-load production environments serving databases as large as 1 TB. So many companies such as Shopify and Hero use Bolt-backed services every day. So yep, this is a popular database. This was built by this person named Ben Johnson. He's very popular, and it's a Bolt is an organization, so GitHub organization, so you can go check it out. The other repos under it. Yeah, this guy is popular, and you can go check out another one project that he made, which is called Lightstream, which is actually an open source project for people who want to do streaming replication for SQLite. So yeah, you can find out the source code here, and it's basically for SQLite. So SQLite is also an embedded. It's like a more like a file-based database. It's a very simple database. So people who try to build databases, they sometimes try to replicate SQLite, and they also learn a lot from SQLite. It's not too big of a code, so you can learn from it. And it's GitHub. Let me find out where's the GitHub. So there is a mirror of it, official Git mirror of the SQLite source tree. So yeah, so this is the SQLite thing. So, and looks like there's a Wasm thing. Cool. So yes, you can go check out this SQLite. It's one of the smallest databases, I think. And then there are so many other databases in the modern world now, like small to big ones. For example, I remember there was this database called GunDB. So yeah, I mean, this is actually an interesting one. So you can actually check out their demos. Basically, you can use it to do sync between your devices and friends, reclaim ownership and control your data and all that. Looks like it's a company now. Um, you can find out the source code here. It's by this person named Mark Nadal. I used to follow him before, not much anymore, but he is pretty popular. And yeah, he I think has built this company called era.co, because seems like he's put his oh, this is eco not eco. mm, I'm guessing he is another. Yeah, I think that's him. um, yep. So they have open source, done open source, and then training, consulting, and whatnot. So the developers are the team. I think if you hover over them, can I find them? Nope. So by the open source community, is backed by open source community, TechCrunch. Okay. So I think Mark is the founder, and yep. So yeah, so that's also an interesting database, and there are so many others. Like there's this database called Couch database, CouchDB. The company is called Couchbase, I think. So Apache CouchDB, Couch database. I think Couchbase is a separate company. So yeah, Couchbase is a separate company. Couch database is DB is different. So this is the Apache thing. So you'll have a similar what do you say icon, but I think it's related but not the same. Just a minute, save settings. So I don't think it's exactly based on Apache CouchDB, but yeah, you can get confused with that. So Couchbase is a company, and their database is open source too, from what I remember. You can find out the GitHub here. So yeah, I guess not everything is open source. Interesting. So yeah, so is it open source? Nope, doesn't seem like it. But yeah, they are popular, Couchbase, and then CouchDB is of course popular because Apache is behind it. So Apache CouchDB, and CouchDB versus Couchbase. Let's look at that. Are both NoSQL, but they have distinct differences in their architecture. Key differences summarized. Is it open source? Both open source and commercial editions. Interesting. Cool. So yeah, interesting that they have the same name. And Couchbase, I want to actually check out their source code, GitHub. Not able to find out that exact thing. Couchbase Labs. Okay, interesting. MCP servers, Shell, Cloud. Weird that they have so many organizations, but I'm not able to find out the code. Source code. It's the manifest. Okay. Couchbase server. Source code for Couchbase server, source code and build projects. Okay, so Membase. Not sure what that is. Think it was an older thing. Cool. So oh wow. So it goes to Couchbase only. Anyways, so basically under this is the server code, I think. So Couchbase server and edge server and whatnot. I think you can read the source code. It's written in what? Oh wow. Doesn't say what it's written in. Interesting. Is there any code at all in this? XML, Watson, just XML and stuff, that's all. Not sure what it does. So Couchbase, interesting. I think this is just to build, is it? Source repository for Couchbase server source code and build projects. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, when you're working with databases, you will notice a lot of stuff about trees and indexes and whatnot. Popularly, you will find out B trees, B plus trees. So yeah. Let me see if I can find out couch. Everything is named as couch, but interesting. The server, doc server, NS server, server CV, full text server. Anyways, I will check it out. I'm not sure where these people have put it, but must be there somewhere. Yep. It's probably the C++ one. KV engine. What about the C1? Cloud store, storage file library. So yeah, there are a lot of projects, interesting stuff. So if you want to read and understand the world is a limit. So yeah, so they have SDKs and stuff. Cool. So Couchbase is one thing, and then you will find out a database is named as PouchDB. Right, it's a JavaScript database. You'll find low DB something, I think, or level DB. There are so many of them out there. Low DB, level DB. So yeah, it's a fast key value storage library written in Google, written at Google that provides an ordered mapping from string keys to string values. So it's written in C++. So yeah. Actually, you can find this guy. He is very popular. So yeah, that's him. He has written quite some research papers. He's part of a lot of big research papers. Yeah, and he has won some awards and all. And you will find him in what do you say? In papers like Spanner and whatnot. So yeah. So if you just look at research papers, you will find out that he is part of Google file system research paper, Spanner, MapReduce, Spanner, Palm, Bigtable, Spanner. Both of these he's there, and MapReduce and many others. So yeah, so he has a lot of research papers under him. So you can actually see that there are so many of them under him. Some 212 research papers. Yeah. And yeah. So Spanner, yeah. Spanner and MapReduce and also Bigtable. So these are pretty big actually. So yep. So you can find out about level DB, low DB, PouchDB, that's the GitHub. So many databases just like that, you can find it out. And when you're looking at databases, you will actually notice that there are so many research papers when it comes to databases, and there are concepts like wall, write ahead log, and then there are concepts like ACID transactions like atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, and then things about transactions in general. What do you mean by a transaction and whatnot, and how do you implement it? And yeah, I mean, you'll also notice how data is stored and managed and all of that. I remember some stuff about B trees, B plus trees, and then there is also this thing called LSM trees. So it's called log structured merged trees. So this helps with fast writes. I think the idea comes from this whole thing of how you cannot have you cannot have everything. Every software and database is purpose built. So if something is built for fast writes, it is for fast writes. You can't do fast reads also with it compared to something else that does more fast reads, because you do less writes and more reads, right? So I think the theorem, it's similar to cap theorem. Um, so cap theorem is about consistency, availability, and partition. So you always support network partitioning, but like you have tolerance for network partition, but you either maintain availability at the cost of consistency, where you get eventual consistency, or I don't know, no consistency, but and then there is strong consistency and lack of availability because it's trying to be consistent. So cap theorem, and I think there's one more theorems similar to cap theorem. Backlash. I think it's called read write theorem. Oh, there's a book interesting. I just want to check it out. Just a moment. Oh, I think it's about blockchains. I don't want to read that. Read write theorem. Databases. No, I forgot the name. It's something about reads, writes, RAM, and whatnot. Database theorems. So there's cap, and then there is base, pi theorem, pattern, flexibility, efficiency, and infinite scale. Okay. Forgot. There was one more thing. It was an interesting thing about how you cannot have all, similar to how there is cap theorem. About read versus write. So interesting. I'm not able to find it now. I think it wasn't exactly a theorem because it wasn't proved. I think it's called theorem, but not proved. Is called conjecture. Yeah, database conjectures. Yeah, rum conjecture. Yeah. So basically, it's about which posits that a database cannot simultaneously be optimal in read time, update cost, and memory usage. So that's the rum: read time, update cost, and memory usage. So forcing a trade-off these factors. So you cannot have all the three, I think. So either your read time is low, but your update cost, you want your update cost to be low, your read time to be low, yes, but slow, more like read time is slow, but update is fast, memory usage is also low, something like that. So RAM conjecture, it is impossible for a database to be simultaneously optimal in all three areas: reads, updates, and memory or storage overhead. So trade-off to optimize two of these values, you must accept a sacrifice in a third. So yeah, this you can check it out. So RAM conjecture, and there are some interesting books that you can check out about databases. For example, database reliability engineering is one. There's this thing called database internals, which I got it, but I haven't read it actually. I bought it on Kindle. Okay, I think I didn't install Kindle yet. But I got this book, and the guy who wrote it is actually pretty cool. So I would highly recommend following him. So he talks a lot about databases, and he is actually a core committer in Cassandra, Apache Cassandra. So looks like he is actually now part of Apple, which is no surprise because he is pretty good actually. So looks like he's been in Apple for a long time now, and he was in data stacks. Oh, by the way, Neon, the company got actually acquired by I think Databricks or Data Stacks. Let me check. Product docs company blog acquired company acquired. No, not able to find it. Neon company acquired acquisition. So yeah, Databricks basically acquired the company, and yeah, so Databricks, DataStax are all popular companies in the database world. Databricks, I think, provides a lot of open source software um, at scale, I think. So if you look at their product, uh, so if you look at open source technologies that back them, basically you can find Spark, Delta Lake, Apache Iceberg, MLflow, Redash, and many more things also, right? And the same is true for data stacks. So you'll actually notice that data stacks basically is all top of you know um, open source. So Astra DB is basically just I think Apache Pulsar. So Astra Streaming is basically Apache Spark, I think. Um, so if you look at Pulsar, you'll notice that Apache Pulsar is a registered trademark. And Apache Cassandra, Apache Pulsar are either registered trademarks or trademarks of the Apache Software Foundation. So basically, they provide Cassandra, Pulsar, and stuff, right? So Apache, so you can actually find out the verses and all. So basically, they provide Cassandra and stuff. So they just host it for you, and they are really good experts in it. So that's something that you'll find in the database world, that there are database companies that provide closed source databases to you. For example, there are companies like Aerospy, Single Store. There was this company called FaunaDB. It doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. FaunaDB. Um, so it was originally created by Fauna Inc. and lived as a database as a service, so it was very popular actually. Now it has been open sourced. You will find out FaunaDB's repo here. It's written in Scala, and unfortunate that not many people have even noticed it. The guy who made it, you know, is the co-founder and chief architect, and he only built it. So yeah, and FaunaDB is a very popular document database from what I remember. Um, so NoSQL, so it's a hybrid document relational data model accessed via NoSQL query, and you will find out stuff like Single Store and Aerospike when it comes to commercial databases. And then there are companies that provide you databases which are open source databases, and they provide you support, or they say we'll provide only support, you self-host it and we'll provide support. We'll provide you database administrators, DBAs. We'll provide you database experts who will help you with managing the database, which means tuning the database, configuring the database, jumping in whenever there are issues, 24/7 support, and also performance tuning and whatnot, and many other things to understand if you're using your database in the right way or not. So these people, I don't think they do open source, from what I understand. Let me see if they have a GitHub. Yeah, they have a GitHub, but I doubt they're actually open sourcing stuff. Um, yeah. Anyways, single store, and then there is Aerospike, and there are many more out there that provide closed source databases, and then there are support companies that provide support for open source databases. So yep, and there are companies that provide just support in general for uh, open source software that has become obsolete, or that has become like a end of life support, so the community doesn't support it. For example, there is this company called Hero Devs, which is trying to support companies that are using Postgres, old versions of Postgres. For example, never ending support, they call it as NES. So end of life open source secured. So never ending support for Postgres, for versions like 11, 12. 11 I think it's coming soon, but 12, 13. So as of now it's supported, but I think in a few days this will be unsupported. So they are just trying to support databases by providing their expertise and you know um, building things, providing features, or providing bug fixes and performance fixes for any software, including databases in this case. So there is a Postgres database mentioned, and then they have, I think, they have some more stuff. They also have other software, but Postgres database is one thing. Apache Spark, and think Apache Solar and Lucene. Yeah, I think everything else is different kinds of software. So yeah, I don't know much about Apache, Tapestry, Camel. Tomcat is like just a server, web server. So yeah, cool. So yeah, the other companies that are popular in this space are called Percona. It's a open source database support company. So they also now have a product which is called I think I forgot the name. Just a minute. Manage preferences. Wow. Okay, so I think they have a company. Just a minute. Support and services software. Oh, by the way, Valkey is Redis fork. So yeah, um, Redis is very popular, and now Valkey is basically play on the word key value store. So val key value key value. So yeah. So these people are experts in databases in general, and specifically some of these databases like MongoDB, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Valkey is like Redis fork. And I think they have a company now. I forgot the name. I mean, they have a database as a service thing. Percona database as a service. I forgot the name of it. Anyways, there are other databases as a service companies also. For example, there's this company called ScaleGrid, which provides databases. So, and then there's this company called Compose.io, which is now acquired by IBM. Compose, IBM. So, Composer, I don't know. Compose, DB, IBM. Cloud Database Service, which is formerly a Cloud Compose. No, not this. Some quantum hardware. Wow. Oh no. I don't want this. No. No options. Wow. Why can't I click anything over here? I think something is going wrong. Okay. So I guess they don't have it anymore. But anyways, and then there is this company called Ivan.com, or is it Ivan.io? Okay, it's not this. Ivan database. So yes, this is the one. So they provide managed databases. So let me go here. Wait a minute. That's weird. I think my browser is dying, so I'm just gonna go ahead and close some of these. So Alex Petrov, you can actually follow him. Um, and there is this guy called Arpit Bhayani. So he is an Indian who actually has done quite some good work. Bhayani. So you'll notice that his website has some interesting stuff, and when it comes to databases, he has done quite some stuff. And he built this database called DiceDB, which is similar to Redis. So it's a key value store. So you can actually notice that here. So, so this is the DiceDB. So it looks like it was archived. It's now read only. Why is that? I mean, that's sad. Has been crossed and everyone who children is about done. Cool. Looks like this has stopped. That is sad. But basically, they had a lot of features, and they had a Discord community also. Um, so I was part of the Discord community. Um, anyway, so it's a key value store, and it's pretty fast, and I think it's horizontally scalable. Um, they haven't put much here. Anyways, looks like he is now heading memory store, so he probably won't be helping with providing any open source software. I don't know why that is the case. And yeah, I mean, he has some papers that he reads and he talks about, and he basically teaches about Redis. So he has courses. If you notice courses, he has Redis internals course, system design, masterclass, and beginners. So yeah, and he is a staff engineer now in this, and so yeah, he is interested in databases, approximate algorithms, and distributed systems. So yeah, so he actually co-founded this company and then he stopped, I think. So yeah, this is not there anymore, I guess. Anyways, oh, they used Code Rabbit sponsorship, which is actually an AI company. Anyway, so DiceDB was okay. Discord. So this is the DiceDB, server, and I think all repair application. Yeah. So yeah, wall is basically right ahead log. So you can actually follow him, and he has quite some interesting repositories, right? And you can follow Alex Petrov also. So I think there's a website called database.dev, database.dev. So yeah, he is on GitHub, I think. Anyways, not able. Oh yeah, this is him. So his name is usually ifsd Gene. So just a minute. I think I know why I'm not able to click things here. I think my screen recording software is doing some stuff. I need to understand what it's doing. I'm not able to. Yeah. Cool. So if it's the gene, that's him. Um, so yeah, you can see that he contributes to Cassandra, and yeah, he is into closure and stuff, I guess. So um, and interesting that his website is not accessible. I'm not sure why. Um, Once proceed. Nope, it's not there. But it's okay. So and scale grid, yeah. I mean, database as a service. I think I spoke about this. And they provide a lot of different kinds of databases. And they also say that you can actually bring your own cloud, BYOC. So this is the first company that I saw talking about that. So they provide MySQL, PostgreSQL, Redis, MongoDB, RabbitMQ, and SQL Server. So just a minute. Oh, yeah, along this way. So yeah, Ivan, you'll notice that they have database stuff, open search. Open search is basically Elasticsearch open sourced. Valkey is basically again Redis open source. There's ClickHouse, I'll talk about it. MySQL, Dragonfly is similar to Redis, PostgreSQL and all. So ClickHouse and Dragonfly, we can talk about it. I don't know much about them. I just know the names. So ClickHouse is actually a company now. Previously, it was only an open source project. I think Yandex is a cloud which made ClickHouse, I think. So you can actually check out Yandex managed service for ClickHouse, right? And now it is so yeah, they basically I think built ClickHouse, and now ClickHouse is a company, and you can actually see this here. So ClickHouse.tech has become ClickHouse.com, and they have a company, and it's of course open source. It's written in C++. You can check it out. It's a pretty good software from what I hear. And of course there are other ones like Apache Druid, which people say can be compared against ClickHouse, and that Apache Druid can scale a lot. So Apache Druid, and then I think there are other similar stuff. I think similar to Apache Druid. There's this company called I forgot. Apache Druid. Was it Apache Pinio? Yeah, Imply is a company actually, which provides. I think they provide. Forgot. Observability, Polaris. Okay, Observability Warehouse, VM integrations. Apache. They basically provide Druid. Looks like it. Apache Polaris. Sorry, Apache Druid in terms of Imply, Polaris, and all. So Apache Druid. So they basically are the creators of Apache Druid, and then there are people who actually built Apache Pinio, which is provided by Startree company, I think. So these people are doing Pinio stuff. So their product is all about Apache Pinio and Pinio and Startree Cloud. So they are always against each other, I guess. So you'll find some similar features in both of them. Yeah, that's Apache Druid, and Apache Pinio is this. All written in Java. Most of the Apache Software Foundation stuff is written in Java. And yeah, ClickHouse is pretty popular. It's a popular database, and a lot of people use it. So, and there are companies like Zerodha, which is actually a popular Indian company that use it for, just a minute. Did I go to the wrong place? Zerodha.com. Blog. to tech. Okay, I think I got it wrong. Yeah, okay. Tech blog. Yeah. So they actually Zerada uses ClickHouse for actually storing their logs, right? Um, so and there is also a company that ClickHouse recently bought, which is called HyperDX, which is actually an observability company built on top of ClickHouse, and it's also an open source software for logs, metrics, traces, errors, and everything. So by the way, if you are talking about errors and stuff, you can talk about Sentry also. Sentry is an open source software. Not this, sorry, Sentry.io, I guess. Yeah. So this is also in the observability space. And there are other open source software in the observability space. I'll probably do an observability mania, or I might just make this as observability mania also. So Signals is actually a better, not better said. Signals is actually a popular open source, observability platform. So, and then there are closed source ones, of course, like Datadog. There's this thing called Better Stack, and then there is this thing called New Relic. And then there is this thing called App Dynamics. So New Relic.com, App Dynamics by Cisco. So Dynatrace is there. This is another company. So this is all Cisco App Dynamics and New Relic, Datadog. So there are so many of them out there. If you want to read about open source space, I think there was this person named as, forgot the name. I'm looking for the Substack of someone monitoring. Just a minute. What is his name? Medium. So observability. Anil Patwa. I think I knew the person's name from LinkedIn. So I think his name is Anil. Was it Anil Patwa? Sahil Patwa. Okay. Yeah, that's Sahil Patwa. So that's Sahil Patwa. Yeah, observability and auto. So this is the thing. He also recently moved to Substack. So we'll find the same thing over here. Observability, we can search it. Archive, observability. Let me search here. Observability. Yeah, this is the one. So you'll notice about how the cost of monitoring and observability stacks are pretty high, and what people are doing about it. So this guy is actually really good at understanding what is going on in the ecosystem of observability space, and he's written a lot of stuff around it. So this was an old post he wrote. That time I even met him. This was around last year I met him. So now there are some more things, like I think there's a company called Chronosphere Observability. Let me check it out. I think it's Chronosphere, yes. So Chronosphere is also an observability platform. So many things out there. And whenever there's observability, there is basically metrics, events, logs, traces, spans, and you need to store them. So again, database comes into play. And people are looking at how to use artificial intelligence to help with stuff, like to help with the root cause analysis and whatnot. Even in databases, people are trying to bring in ideas of how to automatically tune your database There's this company called DB Tune, um, DB Tune, so automated database tuning, and there was one more company called Auto Tune by the person does who takes lectures in CMU. So now it's dead, unfortunately. So Autotune is dead. So it was a tuning service. So props to our team and investors for believing in us. We got his bond. The company out of CMU, you can see it. Research. So you can actually find out that there is research music and whatnot. So just a minute. Let me try to see if we can actually. Wow, I can't even. Yeah, can I click on it now? Yes, research, music, archive, GitHub. Now I can just do this. So this is the project, and yeah, their Bandcamp and the archive where they show how it used to look auditing. So they actually were helping with tuning, I think, Postgres and all, basically RDS Aurora database performance. So yeah, MySQL and Postgres for AWS Aurora and RDS. So yeah. So they had some customers and all. I don't know what happened, but unfortunately, they had to shut down. Yeah, and you can check out their research papers. This is the guy who started off things. I don't know who this is. Andy Pavlo is a popular professor. So that's him. And looks like she is a PhD student. Cool. And yeah, I mean, you can go and check out all their other stuff, other projects also. They have a lot of projects, right? Query optimization as a service and whatnot. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. Yes, that's all. There are a lot more things that I can actually talk about. For example, in databases, there's also this software called, in monitoring and in time series database, there are many softwares. There's this thing called Timescale, which is now renamed as Tiger Data. So their GitHub should give you an idea of just a minute. Tiger Cloud time series. So it's a time series database. Let me just go to Timescale. Yeah, that's Tiger Data. And you'll actually notice that the database is actually a extension to Postgres, which provides time series features for Postgres, right? And there are so many other time series databases. For example, there's this database called QuestDB. It's a time series database. It is also open source. And then it's also a company, by the way. And there's one more called, close these, DBQ, you can go check it out. There's one more called grep time, right? This is a company and it's a database, time series database. It's written in Rust. It's a observability database for metrics, logs and traces, supporting SQL, PromQL, streaming. So yeah, is it a time series database thing? I think it says time series also here. Yes, for metrics you basically need time series database. So yeah, and then you have Prometheus, Influx database, you have Graphite, you have there are so many more out there. You can check it out. I just know some of these, and a lot of people trying to build this. And then there is this thing called Victoria Metrics. This is a company and it's a open source software. They are written in Golang, and you actually have features for metrics and now even for logs. So as part of Victoria Metrics itself. So it's pretty interesting. The space is very very interesting. So you can see Victoria logs and Victoria traces over here. So yeah, and yeah, the space is pretty huge. The open source space and specifically the database space in the open source world, and also one more notebook or book that you can actually read is called Data Intensive Applications, intensive designing data intensive applications, and this is a very popular book. You can read this. I still haven't gotten the original version, the legal version. I just got some PDF from somewhere, but I still haven't read it. But this is a very very popular book that a lot of people recommend for databases and to learn in general about data. And This is one more guy I wanted to talk about. His name is Hussein Nazar. Um, he is actually a backend engineer. So this is Hussein Nazar. Just a minute about. Yeah, that's him. So he has a YouTube. Let me find his YouTube just a minute. Yeah, so he has put a lot of courses on Udemy, and he's on YouTube. He has a lot of videos around
Welcome to another
databases and backend systems. So you can actually find it out. He has some 969 videos, and everything is pretty good. And if you join his thing, you
Hello,
will
and
also
thank
get
you.
access to some interesting extra stuff like behind the scenes videos and exclusive member only videos. And you'll also be part of a Discord server. I think I'm gonna get this soon. It's very cheap also, and everyone as part of the
Hello.
team, as part of this, gets the same set of features. It's just that people can give more money if they want to. He has actually spoken a lot about interesting stuff, so you can go ahead and check it out. So he calls his show as the backend engineering show. Basically, a lot about backend, about databases and backend in general, and a lot of core concepts. So yeah, and yeah, I mean you can follow him and you can check out his Udemy courses. There's backend engineering, there's database engineering, there's networks, there's Node.js stuff, Nginx stuff, and all that. So I think Node.js is inspired from Nginx, from what I remember. So yeah, and then troubleshooting backend stuff, and he has it in different languages also. So yeah, and then fundamentals of operating system. So yeah, and if you want some discounts or coupon codes apart from the ones that Udemy provides, usually Udemy itself has a lot of high percentage of discount. But if you don't get that, you can just go to his website, and he will have coupon codes for it. So if you go here and choose his courses, you'll find that you can click for a coupon code, and you will notice a coupon code here. Basically, if you click this, you'll notice that there's a coupon code on his thing. So node.win, basically ND October or something is set up. So yeah, so you will get a lot of offer for any course that you want based on his discount code. So yeah, you'll notice that he provides the same offers that Udemy does usually. So yep, cool. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. You can go check out Hussein Nazar and the other people that I spoke about, Alex Petrov and many others. And if you're interested in Postgres and stuff, you can actually check out Postgres development group, PDG group. Let me see, group, browse user groups. So community, so basically development, you can follow some of these people here. Oops, I can't find, just a minute, let's just get started. About new to PostgreSQL, yes, and then community, there are also user groups, governance. So if you go to governance, you'll notice that there is there is a core team, um, and then committers. I think core team is just a few people. Contributors profiles. Okay. So EDB is actually a popular company called Enterprise DB. They provide Postgres and some closed source software. Bruce Momsen is a very popular guy. There is also this company called PG Edge to run Postgres at the edge. I forgot to talk about Yugabyte. Yugabyte is also a popular company. And then there are other companies like just a minute. So basically, there's this company called Tensor, I think, database, or was it forgot the name. Oh yeah, there are other things also. 1 minute. Database for AI and all. Okay. Tensor base, was it? Forgot. I think it's called. I think Tussle. Yeah, I think it's called Tussle database. Yeah, Tessel. Okay. So Tessel is popular. So multi-cloud RDS. Yeah, you can check this out. These people came in one of the conferences. Oh, by the way, there are so many open source stuff out there. Like for example, this one I don't know. This is something that I didn't check out before. Apparently, a warehouse thing, data warehouse thing. So TypeSense is actually open source search. So yeah, if you look at their GitHub, learn more. Yes. So you'll notice that TypeSense is actually a popular software. It's an open source alternative for Algolia. Algolia is a very, very popular company for search. A lot of websites that you might be using will say powered by Algolia. Basically say that the Algolia provides the search. And they have open source software, but their core product is not open sourced. So yeah, and Pinecone, and so looks like it's a mix for Algolia plus Pinecone. Pinecone is a database I think I showed you. So and you can use this instead of Elasticsearch, so TypeSense. And then there are other things called Mealy Search, I think. Mealy Search. So this is an open source thing, so you can actually check it out. So similar to these people, TypeSense has how much? It has 25k or so. Mealy Search is written in Rust, and it has some 54k stars, and this is written in C++. Interesting. And the people who built it are some Indians, so I'm very, very inspired by them. So yeah. By the way, if you want some more folks who built some databases who are Indians or Indian origin, you can actually find out dgraph. So dgraph is a graph database. So the person who built it, his name is Manish R. Jain. So he's a Indian origin person, and he has built a lot of interesting stuff. So I am curious as to what happened to dgraph. Okay. And what's so the company name is now Hypermode, I guess. I don't remember it being this. It was previously called dgraph Labs, I think. Dgraph Labs. Yeah, now I think it has become this. So anyways, and they have a lot of different kinds of software in their thing. So something called Badger, which is a fast key value database in Golang, and memory bound Go cache and whatnot. So you can check this out. And just a minute. So Mealy Search, yes. So it's like a alternative to Elasticsearch, I think. So it helps you with fast search engine API. So yep, um, you can check this out. Mela search. A lot of Rust related stuff out there. So yep, type sense, Mela search, and whatnot. And then one more quick bit is something that I wanted to talk about. This is actually open source software again. Basically, they say search more with less. So this is for searching your logs, I think, from what I remember. So a perfect fit for logs and traces. So yeah, its data is stored and searched on unlimited cost-efficient cloud storage. So it's like an object storage thing. So yeah, and you can use Grafana and whatnot. So it's kind of serverless, I think. Yes, it's a serverless implementation. So yeah, and it's open source, and they actually got acquired by a company now. I think they got acquired by Datadog. Yeah, quick joins Datadog. Read the blog post. So Datadog was pretty smart. So you can actually check out their like case studies, like how people did some pretty awesome stuff about savings on infrastructure costs and all that, and use cases. And if you look at the blog, you'll notice how some of their users, like for example, Binance built a 100 petabyte log service with QuickWit. So yeah, it's an interesting name also, QuickWit. So yeah, yeah, go ahead and check it out. And QuickWit is written in Rust. It's pretty cool stuff. And they got acquired by Datadog. Kind of unfortunate for me at least, because it's not. I don't know. It's not like a very open sourcey thing. When someone gets acquired, some open source based company gets acquired by a closed source company. But yeah, Datadog has done some good stuff. For example, they built Vector, which is actually a software so it's by Datadog. It's an open source software. It can be used to build observability pipelines, and it can be used to store your logs and stuff and all that. So vector.dev, a lot of companies use it. So I used to use it long back. So yeah. And if you want to look at other data systems, like for example, Kafka alternators, there is something called NATS, there's something called Red Panda, which is an alternative. So NATS is actually an alternative for Kafka. So it's like a messaging system. You can go check it out. It's written in Golang. The NATS server is written in Golang, and Red Panda is written in C++. It's also an alternative for Kafka, and it has Kafka API compatibility. And then there is Dragonfly, which is an alternative for Redis. So just a minute. Dragonfly DB GitHub. So modern replacement for Redis. So this is written in C++. So yeah. So Memcached is kind of like Redis. It's a popular software, Memcached. So you can go check it out. Yeah, this is Memcached. So yeah. And then there are so many other things out there for Postgres on top of Postgres, like PG Bouncer, lightweight connection pooler, so right, and then PG Partman, partition management extension, PG Jobman for Jobmon, PostgreSQL extension for logging and monitoring apparently. So yeah, and then Partman. So what else? Postgres extensions in general, you can find out many of them. So you'll find a lot of them in Postgres website itself, and I think there is one website called PGXN. It's a Postgres extension network, PGXN. So yeah, Postgres extension network. So you will find a lot of them over here. Yep, and yep. So you can go check it out. So enterprise views, interesting. This is some pricing and all that, I guess. Lakehouse and who is the publisher and all that. Interesting. Cool. So yeah, that's that. And What else? I think I've spoken about quite some things. NATS, QuickWit, Yugabyte DB. Okay, Yugabyte is also an open source thing. PG Edge, is it open source? I don't know. Wait, let me check it out. PG Edge, GitHub, Yugabyte, GitHub. There's also this company called Planet Scale, GitHub. By the way, Apple has a database called Foundation DB. Foundation DB GitHub. Apple has built it, so it's a distributed open source transactional key value store. So it's pretty cool. On top of this, someone built one thing called Tigris Data, but now I think it has changed. Tigris Data. So they built it on top of. So it's a multi-cloud object storage service. So they built it on top of Foundation DB, from what I remember. So it was kind of like a database on top of a JSON, a document database on top of what do you say, Foundation DB. So you can actually find out. But here it says object storage service. So yeah. So Tigris Data, I think it's a storage layer now. It's totally different what they do. But previously it was different. Yeah. So yes, and yeah, Foundation DB is pretty cool. You can check it out. Looks like they have a newer version now, 7.3.71. Weird that only 6.9 comes up here. There is some 71 version also here. Cool. So 1 minute. Yes, releases. Oh yeah, actually pre-release. Okay, this is a pre-release. Okay. So 7.3. Okay, these are all pre-releases. Cool. Oh hey, so yes, doesn't say pre-release here anyways. Cool. So yeah, that is Foundation DB, and you'll actually find, I guess, more stuff over here. FoundationDB.org. Power of Assays. So yeah, download Foundation DB, and yep. So this is pretty popular, and yeah, Planet Scale is actually a company. It's a database company, and so I didn't talk about Vitess, right? I think Vitess is actually a popular thing in MySQL. It's a clustering system for horizontal scaling of MySQL. So yeah. And MariaDB, I think I just spoke about it. MariaDB.com is a company, and MariaDB.org has a similar logo, but it's the foundation, MariaDB Foundation. And the GitHub is wow, they didn't mention their GitHub here. Wow, that's sad. That's a very sad thing. That's sad. Yeah. So GitHub, I think github.com/MariaDB. Yeah, so that's the foundation, and you'll notice that the server is here, MariaDB server, and I think Maria, you might find it as the Maria. Okay, this is some person. MariaDB GitHub. Yeah, this is the corporation. This is the company. Yep. And they have a lot of stuff like Galera and whatnot, some closed source software or open source software, but commercial stuff. So yeah, Max Scale and whatnot, database proxy and all that. You can read their code and you can learn a lot from them. So yeah, so Planet Scale and Yugabyte DB. Yes. And if you want to learn more about databases, just go to some conference. For example, Postgres has a conference in India called Postgres Conference, PGConf. PGConf also happens in many other places in the world. This is the India one, but there are other events that comes up. So you can find out a lot of them and a lot of companies. So PostgresConf, I have noticed a lot of different companies, and you'll see the sponsors from different companies coming up. Enterprise DB is usually one of the sponsors. They have quite some papers also. And in 2021, I think that's didn't do 21. Okay, they didn't have things for 21. So you can see enterprise DB. This is the one EDB. Second quadrant is also a popular company around Postgres. So yeah, and Microsoft, Percona. You'll notice usually these and companies like Fujitsu uses Postgres a lot. I think enterprise, and they also have some. I think enterprise Postgres. Okay. They provided, I think. So yeah, I thought Fujitsu is only a camera company, but no. I think Fujitsu camera is also a thing. Yeah. But Fujitsu Postgres. Good. Yeah, software enterprise Postgres. So they have some enterprise version of Postgres. People from Fujitsu come and talk about Postgres and all. And yeah, Tessel, Instacluster, Veneta, PG Edge, Cockroach DB. Cool. So I think I still haven't shown you EDB. Let me show that once. Mafiri, I think this is a pretty new to me. DB tune we know. Ready set. Postgres Pro, interesting. This is IIT's something. Okay, so team behind NoSQL in PostgreSQL. Okay, set cookies. So their GitHub, Postgres Professional, RAM, access the inverted index with additional information as posting lists. Cool. So this is IITM's thing, I think. This is Enterprise DB EDB. So yeah, and what else? PG Edge is here. So yeah, always open, always on. Open source enterprise Postgres company. PG Edge. Yeah. So they have Spock, Snowflake. Okay. Cool. So 100% opens. So looks like they do some optimization and no. And this is Instacluster for open source technologies, etc. Okay. Okay. So yep. That's a bit about some database stuff. Gigabyte is written in C and C++, and you can go check it out. It's a pretty popular one. And there are a lot of people who write interesting posts from Gigabyte. And by the way, these are some of the committers. The names are listed in order. So first commit, oldest commit first. This is intended to imply anything about depth of contribution. So this person is actually working in, I think, Enterprise DB now. So yeah, he talks a lot about Postgres stuff. So, and you'll find so many other people. So with access to push to the Git repository for technical details on how committing works and all that, it comes on. So they have access to push to the Git repository. So yeah, and new committers are added approximately annually after discussions and vote among existing committers. So yeah, I've heard it can be a pretty weird community with the developers in Postgres. The Postgres development group PDG. I think it's called PDG, Postgres Development Group. Postgres Global Development Group, so it's more like PGDG. So that's what PGDG is. Global, yeah, Postgres Global Development Group, that's what it is. Nowhere it says PGDG, but it's basically that only. So yeah, I mean, he is what do you say? Just a minute. I think he is part of now. He is part of. Is a founding member PostgreSQL Global Development Team. So with Wilson Technology Association this, and I've been relational database from last months. So you will actually notice that he still, I think, works in EDB, Enterprise DB. So yeah, and you will notice Enterprise DB. So yeah, and so he's a vice president and he's an evangelist. So yeah, just a minute. SRE preview. Cool. So yeah, that's him. Weird that I don't follow him. I will follow him. So yeah, ED Enterprise DB or EDB basically. So yeah, and there are so many other committers who are part of the core team, the committers, right? And you can just follow them. And yeah, surely follow these people. Oh, I didn't talk about one more company called Mother Duck. Mother Duck. Okay, Mother Duck. So Mother Duck is a company, and their GitHub, Mother Duck GitHub. Yeah, Mother Duck DB. So that's their GitHub. They have some stuff. So this company is a company that created this database called Duck Database. So and they provide free books like their Manning book on DuckDB in action. So Duck Database or DuckDB. They provide analytics related stuff. So it's a big data company doing big data stuff using DuckDB. So they provide it in a serverless way, I think. At scale. So yeah, you can scale it horizontally basically. So yeah, and for DuckDB you can basically just go to github/duckdb and you'll notice it. And they have a website also for it, duckdb.org. So yeah, so DuckDB is a analytical database. Yeah, so you'll find that there. What are the other analytical databases that I know? So TIDB, Titanium database, is actually a hybrid, analytical and transaction processing. ClickHouse is kind of analytical, and yeah, DuckDB. So DuckDB is kind of like SQLite, similar to SQLite. It's not mentioned here, yes. And it's pretty fast apparently. And Mother Duck company is built on top of DuckDB. So yep, in a serverless way or something like that. And you can go check it out. So there's this website called dbquacks.com, which basically helps you learn SQL using DuckDB. So yeah, you can go check it out. It's a very nice little website. So it also has a challenge thing and tutorial thing. So you can view challenges. There are a lot of challenges. So yeah. Cool. So yeah, and all of these companies and databases usually have some community, usually on email list like Postgres or Slack or Discord, or some other platform like Discourse. So yeah, or they have like a multiple of these. They have a mix of these. So yeah, cool. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. Talking about databases, database mania. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.